Hi, I'm Jennifer Muskat and I'm with Home Care Assistants. I'm here today with Chef Pam Schwartz of Sur La Table, and we're here to talk about our cooking class. The classes are designed to give our caregivers the basic tools and information to go into our clients' homes and prepare healthy meals. We teach basic health-conscious techniques and emphasize fresh and whole foods that are high in antioxidants and omega-3s.
For poaching, we poached an egg, and we talk about the technique on how to poach and how to store it and how to reheat it later on.
What I'd like you to address in this technique is not only steaming but poaching, because a lot of people and a lot of our caregivers are confused, or is there a difference between the two? So maybe you can address that.
Sure. There's a big difference between the two. Steaming means cooking in a little bit of liquid. Generally your vegetables and proteins are set above the liquid, so you bring a pot of liquid to a simmer and allow the steam to come up and cook. Poaching, on the other hand, means completely submerged in liquid at a very low simmer, meaning just a couple of bubbles on top of the water, as opposed to a rolling boil where you have big bubbles going all the time. With poaching, again, no fat, low sodium. You can add aromatics to the liquid, whether it's water, a chicken broth, a vegetable broth. You can throw in dried spices, fresh herbs, citrus fruit, to really create something unique in the poaching liquid. A lot of times when we poach fish, and we don't go into as much technique and French background with the caregivers. I really try to keep it simple so that they're not overwhelmed by this. But you would make what we call a court bouillon, which is an acid and liquid mixture with aromatics in it to poach fish in. I like to do the same with chicken, and depending on what it is that I'm gonna poach and the flavor that I want it to be when I end up with, depends on what aromatics I throw into the water.
Every single class, you always poach an egg.
Right.
And you poach an egg without anything other than the pot of water. Can you talk a little bit about that and sort of the reaction you've had to that from caregivers? Because I know that's kind of been interesting.
Well, it seems like poached eggs are one thing across the board that all of the clients eat at some point. You have caregivers that have come in that have to poach the eggs a specific way for the clients. What I do is I break it down, again, not knowing what type of equipment they're going to go into a house, and show them how to poach an egg in just a pot of water. And what you want to do again is fill the pot about halfway full of water, add a tablespoon of white vinegar to the pan, and bring it up to a simmer. Now the benefit of adding the vinegar is that it helps the egg white coagulate around the egg yolk so that it doesn't just float all over the pan and make a big mess when you go to cook it. And then once the pan is up to a simmer, take and you swirl the water.
It's pretty fast though, right?
Exactly. You get it going pretty good, and then you crack the egg into a bowl and then pour it right into the middle of the swirl. And that's where we get the biggest reaction is you'll see the egg white start to coagulate and wrap itself around the yolk, and then it sits and finishes cooking in this nice pretty little packet. Takes minimum of 2.5 minutes to poach an egg, and you can let it go longer depending on how cooked you want your egg yolk to be. And then we pull it out, drain it lightly on a paper towel, and from that point you can serve it as is, or you can get ahead, especially if you have a client that likes to eat poached eggs every day and you don't want to poach the egg every single morning that you're there. We talk about how to store them and how to reheat them, because you can cook your eggs a day ahead of time and reheat them. Oh, actually,
that's really good. How do you do that?
So you take your eggs, lay them on a flat container with a piece of paper towel or something underneath that just absorb any extra liquid. Throw it in your fridge. When you're ready to warm them up and serve them the next day, you bring a pot of water to a simmer, and you very carefully drop the egg in, and it takes about 45 seconds to reheat, and then you pull it out of the water and serve it.
Oh, that's good. Thanks so much, Pam. It was really fun talking to you today. For more information, please go to Home Care Assistants website or surlatable.com, right?